Hello, welcome again to Talking Drum. I'm on a beach. I was quite surprised when I was wandering along the beach to find somebody playing a Balaphone, apparently it is, isn't it, Joe?
Yes.
Not as surprised as Joe, who's with me, is now, when somebody came up and said, I've got a drum talk show, you don't mind talking to me about drums? Tell us about a Balaphone.
Well, I discovered it to start off with. I learnt some African drumming, so I was learning djembe and dundans, and the teacher who I started off with played the Balaphone, and I kind of saw it and I thought, oh wow, I want to learn to play that. I originally was an orchestral percussionist, so I'd already done quite a lot on xylophone and vibraphone and all that kind of thing. So I had some lessons from her, and then I've been to Africa a few times and had some lessons over there. What I'm playing on it mostly at the moment isn't African.
I did notice this, and I was going to say that it didn't sound that African. What's the difference between what to me sounded closer to a Western classical style and an African style?
I don't know if you'd necessarily call what we're doing sort of classical style as such. I mean,
your classical training is kind of seeping in a little bit.
Okay,
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Now, I wouldn't say it was straight classical, but
Yeah.
your classical training does seem
definitely.
apparent. Yeah.
I mean, a lot of the African style, you'd have maybe a couple of riffs that go round and round, something like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
There'd be layers of that kind of riff, and then there'd be someone soloing over the top. That's kind of quite a common thing to happen. What we're doing at the moment is we're just creating our own music. I don't know if you can see Matt in the camera, but there's a guitarist sitting down there.
There is a guitarist sitting down here that you can't see. He's just here. And this being a drum show, unfortunately, the guitarist getting in the neck slightly. We're not going to wind you up, which I have done in previous shows. The guitar playing does sound fantastic, by the way. And a left-handed guitarist, yeah, I noticed, yeah. And it does sound beautiful, and there's a bit of Latin flavour in there, and it is a classical guitar that's being played. But enough of that, because drummers aren't interested in what guitarists have got to say or got to play. But a lot of drummers that don't get the kind of rounded training that you get with classical music, where you play tuned percussion, probably aren't aware of how tuned percussion is even tuned. So does this play all of the available notes in the scale, or is it restricted to something like a major scale?
Okay, this one is it's a C major scale, basically, ish.
Yeah.
As close as you're going to get, really. Yeah, a lot of them are. There are some in different tunings as well. Some are quite specific, different tunings. Some are slightly more random.
Right.
So, but a lot of them are C major scale, which is really nice because it means that I can play with Matt. So it works quite well.
So all the sharps and flats are not available in this?
Not on this particular one, no. But there are some that might be in a different mode.
Right.
So, for example, instead of an F, you get an F sharp.
But would you still be restricted in whatever key?
Yeah,
you was
still
in?
yes, yeah, you would be.
So it might be in G major or C major or D major, but
yeah.
In this case, Matt is stuck with playing in C major or G major or whatever it is.
Well,
are there tricks you can do to get around that?
You can just miss out the notes that aren't available, really.
Miss out the notes that are going to clash. Clever, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we play a few tunes in different keys or slightly modal keys, so
Yeah, so you're playing tricks with what's available.
Yeah, it's not all in C major. but yeah, we just miss out a few notes.
So the beaters, there's a cliche that drummers talk about sticks, and I seem to say this every show and then talk about sticks. How are the beaters constructed?
That's a very good question. The last time I went to West Africa, I went to Senegal, and I tried to ask my Balaphone teacher about the sticks, and unfortunately my French wasn't that great, or isn't that great, and his English isn't that great. So it's quite a difficult conversation. But actually, if you look at it, you can see it looks a bit like an elastic band wound round.
Yeah, it is. It's definitely some sort of winding of some material.
And I think what I got from him was that I think it's comes from the inside of just inside the bark of a tree.
Right. So it's like the kind of some material you'd make kind of string or thread or binding
kind of
with.
Yeah. So. Yeah, you can see it better if you look right inside there.
Now, I did notice the tuning was slightly off on a couple of notes.
Yep.
Do you find that a problem when you're playing?
Ask Matt. Yes, it can be.
Matt's nodding, by the way. We drummers, we can tune our ears to many, many types of sound, but for guitarists and other musicians,
it is tricky, and Matt does have to sort of try and tune around it. I mean, you can tune them. But it's a very specialist thing, and you have to take the whole thing up. You have to, take the whole thing
it's bound
apart.
here with some sort of with string binding, rope binding, And it is the other thing is, it's like the thing where you've got a table and one of the legs is a bit too short, so you start to trim the other ones, and then suddenly that one's a bit too long. If you're not careful, you'll end up with just kind of trimming it down to nothing.
I have had it tuned in the past. I actually would like to get it tuned again. But again, it's finding people that do it, because it's not an awful lot of people in this country who do it. But
I know the theory, but I wouldn't attempt to touch it with any kind of a tool.
No, well, I wouldn't either. No. But it's kind of got that African feel to it, so it does it does sound slightly out every now and again. It is, yes.
Matt's giving me a quizzical look. No, he's giving us a thumbs up, but grimacing at the same time. So there we go. So tomorrow I'm going to talk to you about other instruments that you play, and I'm not going to surprise I'm not going to spoil the surprise for the audience by saying what they are. But you don't just play tuned percussion; you play a variety of percussion.
Yeah.
Do you play conventional drums, or are you a world percussionist, shall we say?
Yeah, I suppose. Well, I don't really know how to describe myself really. I mean, I don't specialise in anything particular, but I've done quite a lot of African drumming. I've done some Cuban drumming. I play the baron, the Irish drum, and various other bits and pieces. So, and I used to play orchestral. But I'm not. No, I never call myself a kit drummer. No.
Well, Joe, I'm going to be talking to you again tomorrow after your workshop on an instrument that I'm really looking forward to seeing the workshop and to talking to you about. So thank you for joining us for the first time this weekend at Musicport Festival for Talking Drum. Thank you very much.
Thank you.